Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of her other realms and territories, Queen, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith. Queen Elizabeth II has died. Queen Elizabeth II, the UK's longest-serving monarch, has died at Balmoral, aged 96, after reigning for 70 years. She died peacefully on Thursday afternoon at her Scottish estate, where she spent much of the summer. The Queen came to the throne in 1952 and witnessed enormous social change. Her son, King Charles III, said the death of his beloved mother was a moment of great sadness for him and his family, and that her loss would be deeply felt around the world. He said, "We mourn profoundly the passing of a cherished sovereign and a much-loved mother. I know her loss will be deeply felt throughout the country, the realms, and the Commonwealth, and by countless people around the world." During the coming period of mourning, he said he and his family would be comforted and sustained by our knowledge of the respect and deep affection in which the Queen was so widely held. The King and his wife Camilla, now Queen Consort, will return to London on Friday, Buckingham Palace said. He is expected to address the nation on Friday. Senior royals have gathered at Balmoral after the Queen's doctors became concerned about her health earlier in the day. All the Queen's children travelled to Balmoral, near Aberdeen, after doctors placed the Queen under medical supervision. Queen Elizabeth's reign has lasted through 15 Prime Ministers, starting with Winston Churchill in 1951, Sir Anthony Eden, Harold Macmillan in 1957, Sir Alec Douglas Home, Harold Wilson, Edward Heath in 1970, James Callaghan 1976, Margaret Thatcher 1979 to 1990, John Major 90 to 97, Tony Blair 97 to 2007, Gordon Brown, David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, and finally Liz Truss. The Queen was born Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor in Mayfair, London on the 21st of April 1926. Few could have foreseen she would become monarch, but in December 1936 her uncle, Edward VIII, abdicated from the throne to marry the twice-divorced American Wallis Simpson. Elizabeth's father became George VI, and at the age of 10, Lilibet, as she was known in the family, became heir to the throne. Within 3 years, Britain was at war with Nazi Germany. Elizabeth and her younger sister, Princess Margaret, spent much of wartime at Windsor Castle after their parents rejected suggestions they be evacuated to Canada. After turning 18, Elizabeth spent 5 months with the Auxiliary Territorial Service and learned basic motor mechanic and driving skills. "I began to understand the esprit de corps that flourishes in the face of adversity," she recalled later. Through the war, she exchanged letters with her third cousin, Philip, Prince of Greece, who was serving in the Royal Navy. Their romance blossomed and the couple married at Westminster Abbey on the 20th of November 1947, with the prince taking the title of the Duke of Edinburgh. She would later describe him as my strength and stay through 74 years of marriage before his death in 2021, aged 99. Their first son, Charles, was born in 1948, followed by Princess Anne in 1950, Prince Andrew in 1960 and Prince Edward in 1964. Between them, they gave their parents 8 grandchildren and 12 great-grandchildren. The royal line of succession has changed following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. King Charles is now head of state, and heir apparent is William, Duke of Cambridge, followed by his children in positions 2, 3 and 4. It then reverts back to Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and his children, Archie, and Lilibet. In 8th, Andrew, Duke of York, followed by Princess Beatrice of York, and then her child, Sienna Mapley Mosey. It then reverts to Princess Eugenie and her child, August Brooksbank. In 13th position, Edward, Earl of Wessex, and his offspring, James Viscount Severn and Lady Louise Windsor. In 16th, Anne, Princess Royal, and her offspring, Peter Phillips, followed by his offspring, Savannah Phillips and Isla Phillips, before reverting back to Zara Tyndall, and then her offspring, Maya Tyndall, Lena Tyndall and Lucas Tyndall.